The Indianapolis Colts are a tricky team this year. They have some question marks at quarterback. Will Anthony Richardson be healthy? And if he is healthy, is he even the guy? I mean, you have Daniel Jones, who has come in there, and a lot of people think he's going to win that starting job. So that's definitely interesting. So we're going to go through this and pick every single game on their season and see how it turns out. If you are interested in any team from the AFC North or the AFC East, I've already covered those. They're on my channel. But for the Colts and every other team, we are still going to do all of them. So week 1, we're going to kick it off home against the Dolphins. This is going to be a good game. I think it's two teams similar levels, very different teams though. Week 1, it will be in a dome, of course, in Indianapolis. Maybe even the roof open early in the season there. And this one really could go either way. I think the early line is Dolphins by like 1 point or something. It's really close. I will take the Dolphins in this one, but I think that's a very close game in that one. Week 2, I think the Colts come out. They need a win, back-to-back home games to start the season. You cannot go 0-2 if you have any hopes to do anything that season, and I think they come out strong and they get the win here. And this Colts team, I think, is flying under the radar a bit. I don't think they're going to be a contender or anything, but they definitely have some playmakers out there, and they have a pretty well-constructed roster. So I think they definitely can win some games, just putting that out there. So week 3 at Tennessee, they're still getting their feet under them. Cam Ward still getting his feet under him. We watched last year. It took Caleb Williams a while, and Tennessee is a very, very bad team, so he's not going to come in and just immediately make them winners. So give me the Colts on the road in week 3, and they're 2-1 now to start the year, which is solid. Week 4, though, on the road in LA. The Rams should be pretty solid this year. A tough road game for the Colts. I think the Rams take that one without too much trouble, but I don't know, it could be a sneaky one. Then we come back home for 2 home games for the Colts, weeks 5 and 6, against 2 very winnable opponents. Week 5, home against the Raiders. The Raiders, curious to see what we'll get out of them this year with Pete Carroll taking over the reins and Geno Smith taking over at quarterback there. But they're still not a great team, not a complete team, and Colts at home, I will take them in that one. The Cardinals, I think, will be pretty good this year. I think they have a very good roster all around. I think they could surprise some people. I think Kyler still has a lot of talent, so they definitely will win some games, surprise some teams. But in this scenario, at Indy week 6, I will still take the Colts in that one. Then week 7 on the road against the Chargers team that should be pretty good this year. Funny enough, looking at it, this is the Colts back-to-back road games in LA, but separated by 3 weeks. But this one should be a tough one for the Colts. Chargers are built well. They're coached well. Great quarterback leading them over there. I think this is a tough one, and I think it's one they lose to drop to 4-3 on the year, but still a winning record, and you come home against the Titans with a chance to expand that winning record, and I think they do just that. Go ahead and give them a win, move them to 5-3 on the season. And now you're at Pittsburgh, a likely Aaron Rodgers-led team, if he stays healthy up to this point. Steelers are usually pretty solid, well-coached, and on the road in this one for Indy, I think that's a tough one, so I will take the Steelers at home to win this game. And then Atlanta comes into Indianapolis in week 10. I think Atlanta is a little below Indy. It's hard to say. Tough read on Atlanta this year, but on the road in this one, I'll take the Colts at home. And then they'll go into their week 11 bye week to prep for the week 12 game in Kansas City. Some extra prep time should help, maybe give them a fighting chance here. But I think ultimately the Chiefs do win this game. However, it's definitely not a gimme. The Chiefs went 15-2 last year, but man, did they have a habit of keeping games close. And I think this year that could bite them. So games like this, definitely ones to look out for. Colts have the talent. If the Chiefs keep it close late, the Colts could pull it out. But in this one, I do have the Chiefs winning. And then home against the Texans here. I think the Colts win it. I think the Texans are good, but they are not quite at that elite level yet. Not elite enough that you're going to go on the road and just give me a win, against a pretty solid divisional opponent. So Week 13 win for the Colts. And now this one, we'll see. I can go ahead and do both of them here. I have the Jacksonville versus Indy, two teams I had a trouble getting a full read on. Two teams I feel like one of them is bound to have a surprising season and, maybe win 10 games, and the other one feels like they will be closer to the beginning of the draft picks than they are the playoffs. So I can't decide which is which at the moment. I'm leaning more favorably on the Colts. But on these games, I'll take a split, but I'll take the road team winning both of those on the split. So that's an interesting scenario there, but it definitely happens in divisional play. Week 15 then, 8-6. They'd be 8-5 at this point, but with that look-ahead loss, they're 8-6. At Seattle. Seattle might not be as good as a lot of other teams they'll be playing this year, but they're still a great team. Or I don't know, great is a strong word. They're still a solid team. At Seattle. Seattle will maybe be playing for something at this point. It really depends on how their season goes and how Sam Darnold really turns out there. But I will take Seattle in this spot. And then Week 16, this is an interesting one. A Monday Night Football game at Lucas Oil Stadium. The Niners come to town. The Niners are still a very good team, very well coached, but they also have a very easy schedule. So they're not going to be tested very often. But this will be one of those tests, in my opinion. And I think the Niners will fail this test. I think the Colts take this game. That would move them to 9-6, but the loss to Jacksonville has them at 9-7. And then if they're sitting at 9-7, this Week 18 game could be for the division. Depends on how the Texans' season goes. Texans have a tougher schedule than the Colts. They have some of those first-place opponents like the Ravens and Bills on their schedule. And while I think the Colts would certainly stand the chance here, and I wouldn't be astounded to see them upset the Texans for the division here, I cannot in good faith take that pick, so I will take the Texans to win this game, and the Colts finish the season at 9-8, likely missing the playoffs just narrowly by a game, maybe two, if the AFC is really top-heavy this year. 9-8, I don't know how Colts fans would feel about that. I think this team has kind of been in purgatory the last little bit. They keep winning enough games to stay out of that elite level draft, but not winning enough games to really make the playoffs and do any damage. And I think that's kind of right where they are this year. So we'll see how this season turns out. Maybe they'll make a surprise playoff run, or maybe the quarterback question marks, they just will have no answer and they'll lose a bunch of games and get an early draft pick. So we will see lots of places this season could go, but I have it sitting at 9-8. Let me know what y'all think, and tomorrow we will cover the Houston Texans.